This is my story. I'm a breast cancer survivor. My life 6 years before breast cancer diagnosis. In 1995, our youngest son goes off to college, so we have an empty nest. In 1996, Steve lost his job of 21 years when the company closed. In 1997, Steve started a new job where he worked from 7 in the evening till 4 in the morning. In 1997, I started a high-stress job, and I worked from 6 in the morning until 4:30 in the evening. We barely saw each other for 5 years. In 1999, Steve had a heart attack, which he survived. March of 2001, I had a breast cancer diagnosis. The biopsy results over the phone, my surgeon said, "You have a malignant tumor, but it's in the early stages." I'm not sure I heard that when she said that. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't think, and the doctor kept talking. All I kept thinking was, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Really takes something to think about that. I couldn't remember where my husband worked, what part of the plant he worked in. I couldn't remember anything. My best friend, I drove over to her house and told her. And all I wanted her to do was to say, "You're gonna be fine, I'll be here. I'll help you through this." But instead, she told me she couldn't be there for me. That she had already lost a friend 2 years ago to cancer, and she wasn't going to watch me do the same thing. This really scared me because I'm going to die. Every evening, I would sit alone and cry about the life I would never see, grandchildren I would never meet. What was I supposed to do? June the 11th of 2001 was my surgery day. The day before my surgery, I had a procedure called a hook wire localization. Required that a fine wire with a tiny hook on the end be, under local anesthesia, be inserted into the area of the tumor so that the surgeon could find it. It was done in a dark room where the only light was from an X-ray reader. It was cold, it was dark, uncomfortable, and the radiologist sat on a stool underneath an elevated table that I was on. It seemed like every minute was an hour. Time stood still. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was cold, I was miserable, I was in and out of pain, I felt sick to my stomach, and tears began to run down my face. Here I was again, alone. My teeth began to chatter, my legs started to shake, my arms started to shake. I think this must have been a panic attack. The doctor said, "Are you okay?" And I said no. And I asked her if I could just have a moment. And she said, yes. My tears ran down my face faster. And I said in an oh so small, whimpering voice, "I can't do this by myself. I can't." I barely got the words out of my mouth, and I stopped shaking. Someone was hugging me. With such an amazing touch and warmth that came from the inside out. Everything was warm. and comforting. Loving me like a parent that loves a child, a parent comforting a child. It was the first time I felt calm in a long time. It was that peace that transcends understanding. I knew in every part of me it was God. I knew He was there, in that room, present. I could feel Him. The doctors asked if I was ready to continue. And something in my head said, ask how much longer it's going to be. So I did. She said it'll take about 5 more minutes. And I said, okay, I can do that. I can do 5 more minutes. And I did. I did. Today, I'm not here to tell you that it was all easy and it was a downhill from there on, because it wasn't. There were lots of uphill battles. But one very big thing that changed was I was never alone. Not ever again. And that's pretty amazing. That day in the X-ray room, I had seen this tiny flicker of light. I wasn't sure what it was, and then I saw it flicker a second time. And in my heart of hearts, I know it was God. He wanted me to know He was there, ever present. Later on, I told Steve about what I saw. And the day of the surgery in the hospital, everything in the world went wrong. They couldn't get an IV in my hand, and there was blood running down my arm, and there was a nurse that dropped a tray, and there were doctors scurrying back and forth. And in the midst of all of that, there was this tiny flicker in the hallway. Twice. Nobody saw it except Steve and myself. Not the doctors, not the nurses. Nobody saw it. But we knew everything was going to be fine. God was there. We moved to Tennessee in June of 2008 and spent a couple of years trying to find a church that we both liked. We came to Cumberland Fellowship because we heard a radio commercial about coming to their Easter service. We came, and it was wonderful. All the people we encountered and met and got hugged by were great. And we found a home. And we've loved it ever since.